All right, that was kind of interesting.
All right. We were just kidding.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Humbled Under Him presents Mr. Chopping it up with the HuHmies.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What up?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I always never know how to start off, but
Happy Thanksgiving.
yeah. Even though it's going to be like after Thanksgiving when it comes out.
That's all right.
Black Friday, spending money.
Yeah.
Happy whatever day you're having when you're listening to this.
Yeah. Agreed. Maybe happy birthday.
Boom.
It's definitely somebody's birthday.
Right.
So,
Today and the day it comes out.
so I guess the last time we was on here, we was talking about perspective. We wanted to get a little more in depth on the 3 P's on perspective, passion, and purpose.
Yeah.
So, I guess the main question is, a lot of people have like, well, what's my purpose in life? What's my purpose in Christ? What's my purpose? What's the purpose of doing something?
Yeah.
Whether it's going to a job, whether it's
The purpose of being here.
the purpose of being here, cutting your grass. Why would you cut your grass? Just
All
what's the
that.
purpose? We're gonna get in depth on all of it, the whole definition of the word, on
Let's go.
why you should get into it, or.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Oh no.
who
I
wants to
got
go first?
Well, let's go with the English dictionary definition of purpose first. Well, I got the English dictionary definitions of perspective, passion, and purpose. And since we're starting with purpose, I'll say purpose first, and we'll just do them as we go through them. But all of these words have multiple definitions, but I picked out the one that was like based on what we're talking about.
Right.
So for purpose, I got the reason for which something exists or is done, made, or used.
Done, made, or used.
Yeah. And I figured that fit into everything, like even like the little blurb you just said, like, why am I here? What's the purpose of this? What's the purpose of that? Like that, That's what we're trying to figure out. You know what I mean? Like why we exist.
One of them I
here
looked
for. Why
looked
were we
up.
created?
One of them I looked up was finding something that's bigger than yourself. That's the purpose. Like, you're gonna spend your time or your money on something, so something's bigger than just you.
Yeah.
That's another part of purpose. You got to kind of factor all the things into it.
Right.
You got anything? You ain't got no notes written down? You got it all up in your head?
I freestyle
You
everything.
freestyle everything.
I got a bunch of I went through, I use a New King James Bible, and I went through and found that purpose is in 39 verses in the Bible. But all of them didn't necessarily have to do with what we were talking about, because there's a lot of verses in the Bible where the translation or the definition for the word purpose in that particular scripture is the word thing. So, like, for example, lots of verses in the Bible would say, that's the purpose that he came for, but the definition of what they mean is that's the thing that he came for.
Yeah. Like that's the reason he came here, like type of thing. Yeah.
And they use purpose a lot, and the definition is like when God is setting forth something.
Setting forth.
I know that's how they describe it. I was like, dang, don't nobody talk like that no more, but all right, setting forth.
What up?
I don't know, man. Purpose is like, it's deep, because it's like, it's tough. I don't even know if like I know what my purpose is still.
I feel you.
You know what I mean?
I have a very, once we finally get into it, but I have a very countercultural view on purpose than a lot of people, I guess, in the world and the church. But we'll get into that later.
Well, I think a lot to do with finding your purpose is you got to find yourself. And I think a lot, as humans, as people on planet Earth, I mean, our purpose is to provide for the younger generation. I mean, your purpose as an adult would be to take care of the ones younger than you. The same reason when you were younger, there was somebody that took care of you. Their purpose was to help you in your journey, whether it be whatever. I mean, growing up, throwing a ball, riding a bike. I mean, going to church, finding
I like
a job.
that you're saying that.
Because that's, I mean, pretty much everything gets passed down. We're reading from history to whatever else. I mean, I think that's just the purpose.
And that brings me to like one of my first countercultural thoughts to purpose. Like, so a lot of churches and lots of books and lots of blogs and lots of websites, lots of time is devoted to writing and speaking about how a person is to find their purpose, right? And it's all about this, like it's the Holy Grail, this one glorious thing, like you gotta find your purpose. Mm-hmm. But like one of the things that people rarely talk about is what you were just saying is, first of all, most of us, since we're human, have multiple purposes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just this one giant thing you're looking for.
Yeah.
My second thing with purpose is like, I've heard sermons and I've read books and stuff, and they're always like, to find your purpose, you got to do this. And it's funny because like now they even have like, the spiritual gift test and stuff like that. Like I've taken it before and all that. But like, if you look in the Bible, though, there's literally from cover to cover, there's not a single person who was actively seeking what their purpose was. And then you said something earlier, and you were like, I think finding your purpose has to do with finding yourself, which I think is a beautiful quote, because I think the whole thing to finding your purpose is not to look for your purpose, but it's to look for yourself. And looking for yourself in our context would be your relationship with God.
Mm-hmm. It's like I wanted to do, purpose and then do another one on passion.
Yeah.
But as we're talking, you can't find your purpose till you find out what you're passionate about.
But does passion always equal purpose? I have a funny example of why it doesn't.
All right, go ahead. Let me see.
American Idol, right?
Yeah.
They have the episodes where the people are just terrible and they're hilarious, right?
Yeah. That's why people watch it.
Right? That's why people watch it, because it's hilarious, right? The one thing about every single one of those people is they have a crap ton of passion.
Yeah.
Like in their minds, they were definitely supposed to be there and they are definitely going to be a star, and their passion is for singing. Problem is we can tell by the talent of their singing that is not their purpose.
Yeah.
So talent. Well, it's kind of like, man, you can be passionate about your football team or your sports team, but you can't throw or catch a football or hit a baseball,
right?
Or shoot a basketball. You can't even dribble,
right?
A lot of people like watching people dance, and you got two left feet. You ain't doing it, bro.
You know what I was gonna say too, though, a minute ago when you was talking about like our purpose of like, teaching the young and things like that. I wonder what that's driven by, though, because I was talking about that the other day, and I feel like it's driven by our immortality, and it's a fear. You know what I'm saying? Like we know we're passing, so we want to pass along everything that we know, so everything could like take this information, take what I know and take it on.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it continues, and I live on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, if that's the way, you know what I mean? And, like, we're not supposed to be driven by fear, though. You know what I mean? But there's kind of like a way, though, that we know that we're going to pass from here. You feel me?
Yeah. No, I feel you. I think it's kind of, though, it's like I don't know if it's necessarily fear. I think having the realization that you are passing on isn't necessarily has to be a fear thing. I think for a lot of people it is a fear thing.
Yeah.
But I think, for those of us who have I don't know what you want to call it, a healthy outlook on what's going on in reality and a healthy outlook on our relationship with God, when you look at the end of this life, you're not scared that it's going to die. I mean, you're not scared that you're going to die because, I mean, ultimately the death of this life is you receiving the ultimate promise. And not only that, but like in the command of be fruitful and multiply, if you broke it down to animals, like there's no animal that has a child and then doesn't teach that child how to survive. Like part of multiplying is teaching that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And on the aspect of knowing what kind of world it is that we're in, and then us having children, like we have to teach them the things we know, because if not, like, do we really love them? Like, just go figure it out.
Well, that's
Whatever.
what I'm saying. It's like, but that's what I was gonna say though. Like, you don't necessarily have to do anything.
Yeah.
And really, with the animals, they're a little different. Like, we're a lot more nurturing.
Yeah.
Like, animals do nurture in they feed and stuff like that, but they'll let them fall down, like get beat up, smacked around a lot quicker than we will. Like, we coddle. You know what I mean? As humans.
True.
You know. And then in the animal world, it's but also with the animals though, like they're not. I mean, we don't know. I'm not in their mind, but they're not they're not contemplating the future.
Yeah.
And they're not contemplating the past.
Yeah.
But we do.
True.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, no, I feel what you're saying though. You know what I mean? Like I was just, I just had that thought the other day, man. You know what I'm saying? And when you said that about the purpose, you know what I'm saying? And saying like maybe that's one of our purposes of doing that. I was just wondering what it was driven by for a lot of people. Because it's almost like a herd thing. You know what I mean? And like you said, like individually, like I feel the same way. Like I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? I know it's going to happen. I know people pass, come and go, you know. And and I'm good with it, but at the same time, as far as like us passing along things, I just
It's almost like it's like just like it's an internal automatic thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, it's just one of those things you're born with, kind of like for lack of better example, like breathing. Like it's just like
right.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a part of being human. Like I gotta pass this information on.
It makes sense.
A lot of people hold information in. They don't want to give it out. Like a lot of, I don't even failing businesses where, Grandpa had a store and the store was very successful. Pass it down to his kid. Store's still successful. Well, the grandkid, they just ran off. They don't know the struggle of keeping something going. Where, now the business done closed down. They've been there for 75 years, 2 generations, but it was like somebody didn't pass the right information down to keep that going.
Yeah.
But
and it was needed.
Are you supposed to be part of your family business? People have their own minds, own agendas.
You know, it's crazy. Back in the Bible days, like the way families stuck together, it would be like if our families got married together, right? Not only would it be like our families live together, like we would be on our own land, but it would be like your grandparents, my grandparents, their parents, like whoever, everybody who was alive, like all cousins, everybody, like they all lived together and like just kept it like that always.
And the way you were saying that too, though, man, like that makes it show you that it is our purpose to pass that information on, because otherwise, you know what I'm saying, the foundation falls apart. Yeah. Like you said, because he didn't teach his son or grandson how to run the business, and now he ran it into the ground, and it don't survive.
It's almost, you get to thinking about kind of, we'll put it in like a church setting. So you got the dad. He's the pastor. He retires. Now the son's the pastor. Well, if the son don't have a son, who gonna be the next pastor?
Right.
You know, is there a nephew lined up, or are you just gonna have to make somebody else your apprentice? And them, because if not, the church fails, or the other church, you know, somebody else comes in there and might screw it up.
Yeah.
But is it a family business? I don't know.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Or just even, I mean, as far as coaching goes, I mean, in sports, you got a coach. You know, they're usually, nobody wants to train your replacement, but sometimes you're out there training your replacement because you don't, you know.
And maybe that's your purpose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
your
You're going to be here
And
for
that's
one
tough.
season.
And
It's
that's
tough. It's tough.
For
But,
real.
you know, you get to train in something, you know, you get to, you have your own business and you train somebody to do the stuff that you don't want to do. Well, then next thing you know, they learn how to do the stuff you're doing and they'll run off on you. Now they got their own little tile business and carpet business, and they don't. What are you gonna do now? Yeah. There's competition. I mean, there's a lot of stuff can do with your purpose.
Yeah. Different things the Bible said about purpose. Job 42:2, purpose is a thought from God. Psalm 24, purpose is counsel. Counsel can mean deliberate purpose, plan, or design. So I didn't know that about counsel, because when I heard the word counsel, the only thing I think of is like people giving advice or something. Ecclesiastes 3:1, purpose is a delight or pleasure. Isaiah 37, purpose can be empty and vain when performed with the wrong heart. An example would be like the Egyptians enslaving Israel, or something you touched on a minute ago, businessmen who cheat. Like their purpose is to make the company as successful as possible, but it's an empty purpose because the way they're doing it is cheating other people. Jeremiah 26:3, purpose is what someone plans to do. Daniel 6:17, purpose is used to mean matter. Like the matter concerning Daniel might not be changed.
I go back one what he said, what someone plans to do.
Yeah, purpose is what someone plans to do.
Okay, so then like by the other thing, what you was talking about with the business, so a purpose can be ill inspired.
Yes.
You know,
I did it on purpose.
Exactly.
Not on accident.
Exactly.
So it can't be
Like I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find my accident. You know what I'm saying?
So now we're on another level though, talking about purpose. Now, like, you know, you got good and bad purpose. Or, you know.
Well.
You know.
Yeah.
And maybe a wrong passion can lead you into, you know,
A wrong purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Now we're getting down the rabbit hole.
You know what I mean?
And I mean, also, in and of itself, purpose is kind of subjective, because a person's worldview will determine in their minds what their purpose is and what other people's purpose are that they interact with.
Right.
Yeah, something I was looking up this morning. It was. It said, "Be careful about what you're passionate about, because it will lead to you being complacent on your sin."
Ooh.
It's true.
And I was like, I'm just gonna scroll on past that one. I don't we ain't talking about me right now. You know what I'm saying? we trying to do a little podcast. We ain't gonna get in my feelings today. But I was like, man. So I mean, that come down to having the wrong purpose. You know, you can purposely hurt somebody because they hurt you.
Yeah.
I did it on purpose. Sometimes you're trying to teach them. You know, you say somebody hurts you, so you want to hurt them back. So you hurt them back on purpose, but you were trying to teach them not to hurt you again, maybe?
Nah, I feel like, sometimes though, because I'm in that position right now, you feel like the other person's not learning a lesson that you feel like they should be learning right now.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, maybe my purpose is to teach them right now. You know what I mean? And it's like,
I mean, it's like there's what is it? Tough love.
Yeah.
Where, you know, they did it to, or you can blame a lot of things on everybody else, but maybe somebody was trying to teach you.
Yeah.
If he don't get this tough love, he gonna be coddled his whole life. He gonna be babied his whole life. So
This brings up one of the P's. This, like what we're talking about now, is how perspective
yeah,
addresses your purpose.
That's true. Because with the wrong perspective, you could be
Yeah.
pursuing the wrong purpose
Yeah.
or pursuing the purpose in the wrong way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because like you said, someone could have been trying to teach somebody a lesson, but the person who was supposed to learn the lesson could have the perspective, that person hurt me. So, like you said,
Yeah.
I'm going to hurt them.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's all about perspective.
Perspective. Like my daughter Olivia, she hates doctors 'cause she has the wrong perspective. She has a little bit of a weight issue. I didn't know how to say that correctly.
Oh, yeah.
But so she has a little bit of a weight issue. So when she goes to the doctors talk about her weight.
Right.
And she hates doctors because she, in her perspective, feels attacked. But the right perspective is like the doctor is trying to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's the thing anyway. That's like that's part of like growing up, like facing truths that you don't want to face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of times I seen something online too the other day talking about like when people hate on you too. Sometimes they it could be because they see something in you that they don't want to face
Yeah.
in themselves,
Yeah.
you know, or a failure in themselves that they don't want to face.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes I think we do that, like we don't want to face a truth. So we're like, I don't like that. I know I do it sometimes. And
Almost like a defense mechanism.
yeah, exactly. You know, somebody might ask me a question sometimes, and I just don't want to like, you know, I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
So purpose is what? What are we getting at?
Hold on, I got three more.
3 more. All right,
three
let's
more.
get them
Three.
three.
John 12:27. Purpose is your cause, meaning your reason or motive for action. Acts 11:23 actually introduced a whole new idea of purpose. It was purpose of heart, which means to make up one's mind about one thing and to have a resolve. 1 Timothy 1:5, purpose is someone's or something's aim of accomplishment. In my example, I thought of you and I thought of this. I was like, when you sit down to make a beat, you don't sit down with the goal of, I'm going to do this halfway and never finish it. Your aim of accomplishment, your purpose on sitting down to make the beat is to complete it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Revelations 12:17 describes purpose as will, which is someone's desired, deliberate action.
Desired.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so
That can go a lot of ways.
yeah, desire gets in there.
It still always comes back to a perspective.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're going to be like, why do you desire that? Why do you feel that desire? You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's going to depend on the perspective you have on whatever it is, situation, the person, the thing, you know, the place. So what about passion?
Passion. Passion was actually only in the Bible 3 times.
3 times?
3 times. And every time they used it to mean lust.
Mm.
But when I looked up the definition, one of the definitions of it was the suffering and death of Jesus.
Ooh, that's a good one.
And it was like you go back and then there was a lot of Passion of the Christ movie things popped up, and I was like, so he desired to save us.
He did actually. I would say yes.
He loved to save us.
Yeah.
So I mean, something you love, something you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And you can be passionate about animals. You can be passionate about people.
Yeah. The one I got, the definition I got is a strong or extravagant fondness, enthusiasm, or desire for anything.
Yeah, anything.
So it could be an obsession.
Yeah. Your passion could be an obsession.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good thing though. sometimes.
I think it's like everything else. It can be good or bad.
Yeah, it's just like what you said earlier too, like a minute ago when you said though, like I said obsession, but you said like you could get complacent. See, that's what could be caused by obsession. You know what I'm saying? You can get obsessed and get like tunnel vision.
Yeah.
You feel me? And
So-
get complacent about these side things over here because you're so
Yeah.
obsessed.
About the one thing.
Yeah. So passionate about this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of humbleness has to come in there with passion.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Humiliation.
But I think passion. So like we were talking about purpose, and purpose, I feel like the way you find your purpose is basically you just, instead of seeking your purpose, you seek to grow your relationship with God. And as your relationship with God grows, the Holy Spirit lets you know what you need to do. But I think when it comes to passion, it's a little bit different, because since passion can be anything, your passions need to be a little bit more directed. And that's where having mentors in your life, or having friends who, are the kind of friends who can be like, nah, bruh, you're tripping. You know what I'm saying? Not just a bunch of yes men, like people who can speak truth into your life, because passion can get out of control.
Right.
So, that is the one that particularly needs more kind of like, I don't know, guidance, I guess you would call it.
No, I get what you're saying, because just like we were saying, like it can become that obsession. So you need to, either humble yourself, or your friends humble you. Your family humbles you. You know what I mean? By, hey, like you said, hey, bro, you tripping. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you got to be able to realize that, you can get so passionate about something that you don't see it, or you be like, nah, man, leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Type of thing. And I was going to say something else, too, and I forgot. It had to do with we were saying, like, the purpose, you know what I mean? So you could have different purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so it would be like, well, once you, like, figure out that, okay, like you said, my purpose is to go do this.
Yeah.
Now, are you passionate about that particular purpose or not? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you might be passionate about this purpose, not this one. You know what I mean?
Which one comes first, the passion or the purpose?
Yeah.
You gotta be passionate about it.
Yeah, but
about it.
Yeah, but what if you didn't even know though? What if like all of a sudden something come up to you and you're like, oh well, this is what I'm like. This is my purpose to do this right now, and then you become passionate about it.
Yeah. What if all of a sudden you're in front of a burning bush that's telling you got to go back to Egypt and lead the Israelites out of Egypt?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that man wasn't looking for that purpose, but then it came to him,
But then he came passionate about saving his people.
But he did fight it at first. But yes, he did become very passionate.
He might have fought it though from fear. That's something scary, something big
Heck
hit you
yeah.
like that, like a big responsibility.
And it's funny because his big excuse for God was, I don't talk well.
And not only that, like to come back and tell people that too, though.
Right.
Like, hey man, this bush was on fire, yo. You know what I'm saying? And it told me to tell you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be pretty passionate to come back and tell somebody that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, if you don't believe it, you're going to be like, nah, man, I'm tripping. I ain't telling nobody what happened out there, you know?
Heck yeah. But that's just an example of the purpose coming before the passion. But I think passion also, it works both ways. I think it's situational because, for example, although David never had any idea that he was going to be king, he always, throughout his life, was passionate about the Israelite people. And then God made him a king. So he already had, you know what I mean? Like he had the passion throughout his whole life and then became a person with a purpose. So like,
that's what I was just about to say too, is like, what if you're passionate about something, but you don't know why?
Right.
Like you don't know what the purpose of your passion for this thing is. Like maybe you've tried certain things and it didn't work out. Like even with me with music, I've done certain things that didn't work out. I've done other things that do work out. And I'm like, well, then what's the purpose?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where do I fall in here?
Yeah. I feel you.
It's like, I know it's there. There's a passion there, but it's like, well, what's the purpose in it?
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so lost. My brain's just spinning. I'm like, man, this conversation is going.
Well, it's just so many angles, so many perspectives.
And we hadn't even got into anything about like specifics on like what actual purpose is yet.
No. I'm over here thinking, second guessing. I'm like, man, what is my purpose now? Because am I passionate? Because passionate is almost bad. You know what I'm saying?
It's not though. It's not.
You know,
It's
I'm
not.
like, man,
It's just an energy that needs to be honed. You know what I mean? To be like focused or concentrated.
Yeah. Because it's like even in the Bible, like I said, passion was only used 3 times. It's only in the New Testament, and I think that's just because Moses and them didn't have a word for that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No
I don't think
translation.
it was because they didn't have passion. They just didn't have a word that translated into English that way.
Yeah.
But I think when you look back, like using David again, for example, the Bible describes him as a man after God's own heart. If that's not a statement describing passion,
Yeah, that's passion.
you know what I mean?
So did he lust after God? You know what I'm saying? Like,
No. He had that extravagant fondness and enthusiasm for
Yeah.
God.
but well, I don't even know what I was gonna say, but I was gonna say maybe chase. It's almost like lust, where you're always told, or you got lust in your heart over a girl, but maybe it's chasing after something that doesn't want you, but like lusting the other person wanting to care about you.
Yeah.
Like he wanted God's own heart,
Yeah.
where he might have thought God didn't want him. So you're doing a lot of things to try to impress when you don't really have to.
Yeah.
Like, God loves you no matter what.
Yeah.
And you're out here you're lusting after God's heart, which is, he already loves you. So you're trying to do all these things like, hey, look at me.
Yeah.
Hey, I did this for you. You know, here's this. That's just what popped in my head.
Yeah.
So, us sitting at this table, has anybody found their purpose? Why they think they are here?
I have multiple answers for that question because some of the answers, what I would say, I believe is true for all of us and just everybody who's a human. Because I would say, like, first and foremost, your purpose is to be loved. Like, that's what humans were created for. We were created to be loved. Second, I would say your purpose is to love, like reciprocate the love. So you love God, you love others. Third, I would say your purpose is to create disciples, which is, like we talked about earlier, passing down the information. And I believe, because I think it's like this. If you go through the Bible, God kind of lays out this plan that, like, this is the general purpose for everybody who's born a human. You know what I mean? And then, like I was talking about earlier, then you see stories of people who kind of dedicated their lives on being close to God end up having, like, a special purpose that God ends up giving them. But it wasn't even something they were looking for, because it was like Joseph and Mary. If you read about their history and stuff like that from other sources from the first centuries and stuff like that, they write about how this young couple, they loved God. You know, they always did the Passover. They did their sacrifices. They, like, you know what I mean? Loved God. And that's all they were basing their life on, was loving God and loving each other. And then God came along and goes, hey, you're going to give birth to the Messiah. But she wasn't looking for that, you know what I mean? She wasn't praying every day, Lord, give me the purpose. Lord, what's my calling? Lord, why am I here? Nah, she was like, look, I'm here. Love God. He loves me. And I love my husband to be. So that's my focus.
That's what I was going to say is, like, in the closeness of being intimate with God, then the purpose will, you know what I'm saying? It's going to show itself.
Yeah.
You're gonna
That's
see
when he reveals it, is in the intimacy.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is it, Micah?
What?
Are you not intimate enough with God?
Well, sometimes I'm not.
I feel you. Me too, man.
be right.
That's all of us.
Sometimes I'm just going through the motions.
Like,
I
nope,
feel like.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
So what about you? You said you don't know what your purpose is?
Nah, I couldn't
You're
tell
just
you, man.
wandering. You're a nomad out here in the world.
I
Just
think,
running.
man, my main purpose is still, you know what I'm saying, like learning like me. You know what I mean? Like I still like I feel like, well, we're always changing.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to like learn yourself and then continue to relearn yourself, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as you're doing that, figure out, you know, a purpose. But then again, you know what I'm saying? Like you was saying, like maybe, you know, we're not supposed to be trying to figure out a purpose. You know,
We could have a
maybe
different
just
purpose.
There's like if you combine all the things God said in the Old Testament and all the things Jesus and the apostles write in the New Testament, there's more than 1,000 commands in the Bible. More than 1,000. Not one of them mentions you seeking your purpose. I'm just saying.
yeah.
To me, that seems like an indicator. And excuse me. And I think that in our modern society, the reason that there is such a focus on finding it is just a deception from the enemy. Like he's keeping people focused on, like, think about this. You go in the average church setting right now, right? And like half the congregation's focus is finding their calling, right? Which means they're not focused on having a relationship with God.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. Is it's
'Cause they're
like
worried about self.
right? It's like it does seem almost like a trick. Like you're supposed to be like we're like, oh well, why are we here? And it's like, well, we're trying to find out why we're here and just love God, love one another. You know what I'm saying? And then it just flows.
Then it just flows, because it's like and that's why I think it's a trick from the enemy, because you just said it perfectly, and I can't even remember how to rephrase it the way you just said it. But in the aspect of, like you said, it's like the what they call it, the old scam, the Kansas City Shuffle. You know, you make them look this way while you go that way. You know what I mean? It's like that's what the enemy's doing. Instead of someone being focused on, like, all right, God loves me, and let me learn about God, and let me see who God says I am, and let me see the things God says to do in life. They're like, I got to figure out what my calling is. Am I going to be a singer? Am I going to be this? Am I going to, you know what I'm saying?
You know why too though?
See,
Because we're trying to look and see what everybody else thinks.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
what do they think I'm doing?
Yeah.
And then I have to have a purpose so this person knows why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
And they can see that that's my purpose.
Yeah.
And it ain't even about that.
And it ain't even about that.
Yeah, see, we were
You
talking
know?
about it in a small group a couple of weeks back, where when you get saved, you spend more time trying to fix your own puzzle instead of realizing that you're a piece in a bigger puzzle.
Man, exactly.
Where, you know, everybody's trying to fix themselves. Oh, well, let me put my puzzle together. Now realizing that you need to be this piece in somebody else's puzzle to help them complete themselves.
And I think it's a balance of both though. Because, like, you know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
that
if,
might be-
if your
that-
puzzle piece is like, you might be a little jacked up.
Yeah, you
so
being,
you try to go fit up here
but
and you
being,
don't fit.
you being that piece in somebody else's puzzle might be that reason why you can't put your own puzzle
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I'm supposed to be a little curved over here on this side. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yep.
So,
It's
That's
a balance.
good right there. That's good right there.
Yeah.
but yeah, I came up. Well, I didn't come up with. I found online some things about how you can find your purpose, and one of them was what drives you. What's gonna make you get up? What would make you get up? Another one was like what energizes you. So you're gonna need to be. I mean, you can get up and want to go do something, but you can get tired of doing it after a while. So you got to find out what's gonna keep you energized on doing that. And then the other one is what are you willing to sacrifice for? You know, whether it's are you willing to sacrifice yourself to prove that it's worth doing? You know, are you gonna stand firm in your faith when they say, "Hey, denounce God, or we're gonna chop your head off"?
Yeah.
I mean, you gonna stand there long enough?
Yeah.
And be like, I don't know. You know, and then you got to find out who that you want to help and how you want to help them. So it all when I read those 5 things, I was like, man, it all comes down to helping somebody. But how you gonna help them? well, why am I going to help them? And they're going to be able to keep on helping them. But then you got to find out who.
That's
where a
dope.
lot of people want to help the homeless. A lot of people want to help domestic violence victims. Some people want to help children.
Yeah.
Some people want to help single mothers or single parents.
That's dope.
What is it that you want to help? Who is it that you want to help?
Mm.
And then
That's
you'll find
dope.
your purpose, because there's so many different things to pick from. And just like we were talking about,
I said this to you not to.
helping the younger generation, or you could help the older generation. It's all about helping somebody.
That's what I was saying. Remember, I said something to you. Remember, a couple months ago, I was like, dude, I just want to be doing something charitable, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's dope, because that's like super biblical, because anybody who did anything in the Bible, the purpose of what they did was always 100% for other people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reason, as simple as like the reason Jesus came to earth, it was for other people. The reason Jesus created disciples, it was so those disciples could help other people. You know what I'm saying? Like all of it. David became king so he could help Israel. You know what I mean? Like every single person. Moses only became Moses because he was helping. Like every single person. It's all, like you said,
And even,
about helping somebody
even in
else.
Moses' purpose was to get the Israelites out of Egypt. But nobody ever talks about he never made it to the promised land.
Never made it to the promised land.
Maybe, yeah.
Nobody ever says that part of the story, but his purpose was to get the people out of there.
Yeah.
And you figure, well, he got them out of there. He should have made it.
He was originally supposed to, but
his purpose.
he had
Maybe
some,
his faith was a little.
Well, there was a moment of disobedience, and in that moment, God told him, and that's why you're not going to be able to go to the promised land.
It was, they needed water, and God told him to strike the rock.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, they needed water again, and God told him to speak to the rock. Well, he did what he did the first time. He struck the rock, and then bam, he disobeyed me. But it was like you constantly, and it goes back to, even when Jesus walked out to the water and they're fishing, they ain't finding no fish. Man, throw your net on the other side of the boat. Man, why? We were fishing on this side of the boat. Well, when they threw their net on the other side of the boat,
They ended up needing another boat to help them.
Yeah, they needed another boat to help get all the fish out. Whereas sometimes you've done something the same way, and it's always worked. It's always worked. I mean, a football play, hey, let's run Derrick Henry to the left. It always works. Well, hey, maybe we need to run him to the right this next time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where sometimes you got to switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
You're not always right. And the same thing that's always worked might not work this time.
Mm-hmm.
Obedience.
Where sometimes the newer generation, well, we do things this way. Well, no, this is how we do it. This is how we've always done it. Well, there's a new generation, and there's a new way to do the same thing.
Yep.
And sometimes you're hard-headed and won't listen.
Some people are, they call it, they're more tied to traditions of things than they are the thing itself actually. You know what I mean? Some people are more, some people would rather go to church and have the tradition of what they think church is rather than go to church and actually experience an encounter with God.
Yeah, or even just, cooking a turkey for Thanksgiving. Grandma's always had that thing in the oven for hours.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shoot, now you can smoke it for hours. Well, hey, we ain't got enough time to smoke it, man. We can deep fry that thing in 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And it's just going to be just as good.
Yep.
But, there's always a different way.
Yeah.
I was thinking, because of what we was talking about, and was saying, with the purpose and all that, and finding it was really, when you find it, it's not like you're really looking for it. It's about being intimate and close with God. You know what I mean? And then it come to you. Well, what I was thinking, what I was saying a second ago is it's comes down to obedience. With the Moses thing, it's when to listen and know that that's the right voice and be obedient. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which will lead to, you know what I'm saying? If you're obedient to God, then those things are just going to fall in place, finding your purpose. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like, you know what I'm saying, maybe talking about obedience the next time, you know what I mean, in intimacy with God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this leading into that, because intimacy with God and that obedience could help lead to finding that purpose or discovering that purpose, really, you know?
Yeah.
I think it might go back to, you know, can you have a multi-purpose?
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
I think like we said in the beginning, like I think the actual only way to even be a human is to be multi-purpose. Like if you only have one purpose as a human, I think something could possibly be wrong.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'd have to have 7 billion different purposes.
Well, it's like I don't know if y'all ever said this before, or something's happened where, man, you've always wanted to do this one thing, you've done it, and you'll go, well, I can die a happy man now. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, but you don't die. Next thing you know, something else happens.
Yeah.
Oh man, I can die a happy man now.
Yeah.
And it's like, did you fulfill a purpose, and now you need to work on your next purpose? But I think all of us have thought that before.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, if I just had this one thing, bam, you get it, and it's like, I can die a happy man.
Yeah.
Well, you know, sometimes that car or whatever it was, you know, gets wrecked, gets older, breaks down. It's like, well, I'm not happy anymore. Now I got to find another purpose.
Yeah.
So this
sometimes, like, that's another thing too, is like it's really like the journey of getting there too, because sometimes having a purpose drives you to something, but then once you achieve it, like you said, that drive's gone.
Yeah.
You know?
You got to find the next thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of people that thought they knew their purpose, you fulfilled that purpose.
Yeah.
And now
now you need to find that next purpose. You know?
Yeah. And
like,
then I think lots of people say this for whoever's listening. Lots of us need to realize the purpose is already right in front of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there's no reason to look. Like we're living in it right now.
Yeah. It really is like more like paying attention, kind of like I've heard before talked about, like when you pray for something, you you pray about like, oh, I want to help people or something. Well, then you got to be on the lookout for what that looks like, because you don't know what it's going to be. It could be that homeless guy on the corner. It could be a friend that comes to you and tells you some information. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. It could be an employee, fellow employee or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, just being aware. You know what I'm
aware.
saying? Maybe not necessarily looking for it,
Yeah.
but be aware for when you see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Being prepared.
Yeah,
to
be
where
prepared.
You got to keep. Sometimes you're looking for something, and it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
But you just keep going. You don't think that's your purpose. That one thing's your purpose.
Yeah.
But really, that is your purpose, and you're just kind of not paying attention.
Or that goes back, take what you exactly just said, and then go back to Derek, and he said obedience.
Mm-hmm.
Because like bringing up Moses again. Moses could have easily been like, you want me to do what? Nah, player. Nah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of, I know everybody here has heard that somebody have a testimony where somebody from somewhere just pops up and says, hey, I'm here to tell you that everything's going to be okay. And I'm like, man, I wonder when that person was told to go do that, they obeyed. Oh, at first they obeyed.
Yeah.
But it's like, man, I can't believe that. Like, I don't know if God's ever told any of us to, like, hey, I need you to get in your car and drive up to Walmart halfway across the other side of town, and when you see him, you'll know.
Right.
And tell them everything's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, like you always hear people that have the stories where they were told that.
Yeah.
But just imagine the people that did those things and drove that far.
Yeah.
It's like, man.
It's just like in the Bible where Jesus told the dude to go and there'd be like a donkey or a camel there, you know?
Uh-oh, we got guests.
Guest appearance.
I heard them barking.
Yeah. Nah, that's good.
But yeah.
All right, let's break out one last definition since we didn't say this definition yet. Definition on perspective that I had was...
Oh, Lord.
Surprised me. The definition of perspective that I have is The state of one's ideas or a mental view. And that's basically what we've been talking about, our people's mental view on whatever subject.
We got us a mascot.
All right, say that definition one more time.
The state of one's ideas or a mental view. That's perspective.
I was gonna say it's perspective again.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always perspective because, like, you could have a purpose, and from your perspective, it makes sense, and somebody else's perspective, maybe it doesn't make sense, and maybe it look bad from somebody else's perspective.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm just tripping on my dog ran in here.
Oh, I know.
She must smell your dog.
Oh yeah, for sure.
One more time, because I was totally distracted about the tail wagging hitting the table.
All right. Well, are we about to end it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're ending it, we're just going to leave it with the 3 definitions of the 3 Ps. Perspective, the state of one's ideas or a mental view. Passion, a strong or extravagant fondness, enthusiasm, or desire for anything. And purpose, the reason for which something exists or is done, made, or used.
Yeah.
Hey. Okay. Hey.
All right, everybody. Huh?
Huh?